am Andrew Cain, State Politics Editor of the Richmond Times-Dispatch, and with me is my colleague, Dave Ress, a reporter for the politics team, and we're here to talk about the Democratic National Convention, which gets underway Monday in Chicago. Dave, this outlook for the convention has changed pretty dramatically in the last few weeks, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think actually State Senator Mamie Locke kind of put it best. I saw her the other day at the General Assembly building, and she said, yeah, you know, I was thinking of actually skipping it because I think it's going to be kind of boring, but now things have gotten pretty excited, and I think that's the case.
Yeah, of course, you'll recall that President Biden stepped down from the presidential race on July the 21st, and subsequently, all the Democrats got in line behind Vice President Kamala Harris, and she's already been nominated, hasn't she?
That's right. You know, conventions are kind of funny. They don't really decide that much, although we did hear from State Senator Hashmi who's saying she expects a lot of work to get done, in addition to the big evening events when some of the big shots show up.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the composition of the Democratic delegation. How many folks and who's going to be there?
It's 125. There are some other people you would expect. Both senators, all of the 6 Democratic members of Congress. There's mayors like LeVar Stoney, Sherman Lee from Roanoke, Kenny Alexander from Norfolk. But the other thing is, you know, there's a lot of folks who are down there in the trenches. People like Ghislaine Knoyton, who I know very well from my days down in Hampton.
She's worked with NAACP, I believe.
She's the first vice president of NAACP. She's a very active advocate for getting people to sign up with things like affordable care, the Affordable Care Act coverage, that kind of thing.
Another member of the Virginia delegation is going to be former Governor Terry McAuliffe, who, of course, is a former head of the Democratic National Committee, so he's sort of grandfathered in. We're going to have some prominent speakers. The first night of the convention is going to feature President Joe Biden, and then it becomes the switch toward Vice President Harris. But you're going to have on the second night of the convention, former President Obama will speak, as well as former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, who was the party's 2016 presidential nominee. Then on the third night, you're going to see former President Bill Clinton and the current vice presidential nominee, Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota. But Dave, in addition to the high-profile speeches, there's a lot that they're going to be doing during the day. Tell folks some of what's going on.
Yeah, that sort of surprised me because your usual image of a convention is a lot of silly hats and buttons and signs. But Senator Hashmi was quite clear. She's in, I think, 4 or 5 different caucuses, and they sound pretty serious, the kind of thing that geeks like you and I would like to get involved with, but talking about kind of how, not just policy, but strategies for Democrats' concerns about recent Supreme Court rulings on the environment, on access to abortion, how to deal with that on the street when we get back in campaigning. One of the things that Senator Hashmi pointed out is that Virginia Democrats' success with mobilizing Asian American and Pacific Islander votes is a message that they really want to take back to the rest of the nation.
And you'll recall from Dave's coverage of the Republican National Convention, Governor Youngkin, who might be looking at a possible run in 2028, made the rounds to some other key delegations. And so we might see the converse in Chicago with some future hopefuls coming to visit the Virginia delegation.
And vice versa. You know, it's a great chance, as you know, one of the things that happens during the day is it's a great chance to meet people you might want from other states who could back you, build connections within a delegation, and, you know, since money matters, meet people who fund campaigns.
So there'll be plenty to cover in the days ahead, and we invite all of you to continue to follow our coverage on richmond.com and in the Richmond Times-Dispatch.